So I recently we bought some Android tablets remotes for the Link, and it's a vendor that I haven't worked with before, and basically wired over a few grand, and you kind of wait, and there's definitely a moment where you're like, well, you know. Is he going to abscond with the funds? Is his company real? And it's hard to tell. I mean, I've been doing business with China for a decade now, and you get a kind of feel for this. My judgment was it was okay, but but there's definitely a certain amount of risk there. So people always ask, what are the options for mitigating this if you're not there, if you're not actually going to physically go there. So wire transfer is the least secure, but it's frankly the most practical for most of these small transactions. There's also LC, letter of credit, that banks do, and so that puts the money in an escrow account between the two banks that ensures that at least the money will be held until the shipment goes off. Now this doesn't prevent you from receiving defective goods or even a box of rocks, because no one actually inspects the goods. They just they just note that it's getting shipped. So short of obviously the best way to do is if you got someone on the ground who can actually monitor the transaction. They can go to this facility and make sure you're getting the goods, and then pay the money there. Maybe you pay a small deposit to do that. But those have traditionally been kind of your three ways. Some person on the ground, LC, which is expensive, and it's hundreds of dollars. It's complicated. Many vendors won't do it as a result for these small amounts of money because it costs them money too, or just wiring the money in good faith, making your judgment. But the sourcing site, Alibaba, has introduced a couple new ones. They have an escrow tool that vendors can sign up for, and they also have a real community of sorts that you can use to verify vendors. So you'll go on there and you can post queries. Is this a legitimate vendor? Have other folks worked with them? And you'll get a feel. It's actually a fairly active community with a lot of participants in there, and you can get a feel for how much credibility they have. I saw some, kind of interesting community investigations where Chinese were looking and saying, this is a suspicious site. It's not foolproof. There's no question, because the customs and mores in China are very, very different, and things that would be a tip-off of fraud here are a lot of times just customary informality there. But those are some new, very powerful tools. And the escrow one particularly, I don't know if all the vendors use it, but you'll see it if you look at Alibaba.com. You'll see it's an option in some cases, which actually allows you to receive the goods before you release the money. So that's a high level of security. So, Alibaba is really breaking through some new tools that make sourcing tremendously easier and more accessible. So that's certainly a good place. We're just starting out.